See, only on this show we bring you jazzy graphics and jazzy intros like that. Not made by me. Welcome to another episode of my show. It's December the 6th, 2022. I wasn't planning on being live tonight. Well, I would say 50-50 because 1 minute I did schedule this in, and I thought it was going to happen. I thought my guest forgot, but he did not forget. He is here bang on time. A later time than usual. Usually I do it about 2 p.m. Eastern usually, but today I'm being very generous to my guests, and I said, you know what? Since I've been trying to get this person on the show since July, after I would say rudely ignoring my comment on the Facebook page and going on other people's shows, we finally got him on the show because I addressed it to his face. That's what we do here on my show. We don't talk about people behind their backs. We go straight to the faces and we tell them that, hey, why did you ignore us? Why, what's all that about? Is that because we got a smaller audience? Is that because we can't attempt you to come on this big show? The best kept secret on YouTube? I don't know, but I let my guests to say because he joins the likes of Eric Bischoff, Terry Warnards, Rodney Mack, Shark Boy, and many others, including some other special guests coming on the show very soon. Don't want to reveal too much, but we got some big people coming on the show soon as well. But today, you may see this guy on Fight TV who follow me on Twitter. I don't know if they follow you yet on Twitter. Maybe you should speak to them if not. But they follow me. You'll see him on IWTV as well. And he's on the show now, only on youtube.com on the Best Kept Secret. Please welcome along Peyton Bowman. Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys?
Yes, hello. Nice of you to join us from your Zebra apartment, is that what we're going to call it?
Yeah. I feel like I couldn't come alone. Had to have the zebra herd with me. So I figured I'd show them off too.
Yeah, don't blame you. First person to really change his the background on any of these zooms we've done on this show. So we thank you for making the effort.
Well, it's better than the messy room I have behind me. So so that yeah.
And as well, if you're thinking, is this the real Peyton Bowman? It is, yes. He doesn't usually wear glasses when you probably see him on TV or online, but today he's wearing glasses.
Yeah, I am. I'm wearing I'm actually legally blind.
Really? Well, that explains a lot. That explains a lot on the wrestling shows you're on. That's what ticks the box.
See, people call me out on at these shows and ringside. They're calling me out and saying, "Ref, how'd you not see that?" Well, I have a good reason.
Yeah.
I'm actually legally blind. How the Kentucky Wrestling Commission allowed me to get a license to referee, I don't know, but wrestling's treated me pretty good.
Well,
but I am actually legally blind, and I usually wear contacts. That's why that's what I wear in the ring. But today I just didn't put contacts on, so that's why I'm wearing glasses.
Yeah, and I call you out for that, and I can understand why the Kentucky Commission Board gave you a license, because they need more people. So they just get them out left, right, and center.
Yeah, it was funny. They were doing the because in Kentucky you have to have a physical done, and you have to. There's so much stuff that goes into the getting a license in Kentucky to wrestle, to be a referee, to be a manager, all kinds of stuff. You have to have a physical done, and you have to not have an eye exam done. And I passed the eye exam somehow, but it's I guess they do need the bodies in the Kentucky wrestling scene. So
yeah, the rest is history. But speaking about that, because why not talk about it right now? I mentioned it earlier on in the show, but since you brought it up, people come up to you all the time saying, you're worst referee, or maybe you're the best referee. What's the reaction you perceive to get online and in front of audiences? Do people like your work? Do you think you're a bit crazy or a bit bonkers, or do you think people majority like you?
Well,
from the fans' perspective, I must say.
Yes, from the fans' perspective. So, it's funny. During the matches, It's very, a lot of we've all been there, been to wrestling shows, been in the heat of the moment, and maybe we thought a count was a little slow, or maybe we thought a count was a little fast, or maybe we feel like the referee's being too lenient, and we get upset at the referee. So uh, I I take it, I guess, as a compliment or not. I'm proud of this, is that I don't get too many people shouting at me that I did bad or that I messed up during matches. But in Kentucky, for some reason, that's a big popular thing, is to just shout at the referee, shout uh, profanity at the referee, and but no, it's funny during the match I get some of that stuff sometimes, but after the match, whenever I'm walking around the venue, just talking to people, I like this past weekend I was refereeing Vic the Bruisers, a Kentucky wrestling legend. I was refereeing his retirement show, and had like close to like 10 people wanting pictures with me, like just walking around the venue, and I was like, wow, that's really cool, and they're complimenting my work and stuff, and I thought that was cool. And then it's funny, like the same people are yelling at you during the during the match. So
You know
it's
why
a
that is, don't you? You know
it's
why
a
that is
50-50 thing.
because they are two-faced people. That's what it is. Unlike me, if I have a problem,
Uh,
if I have an issue with someone, I don't talk about them behind the backs. I go up to the person and I will just tell them how it is. As I'm sure you probably know by now.
gotcha.
After our many interactions by now, Peyton. But that's what they are.
Yeah. You don't dance around the topic at hand. That's for sure.
Exactly right. I'm glad you noticed that. So that's good to see. But no, I think those people are either two-faced or they're not maybe confident enough. Maybe, who knows? But at least you got some good pictures, I'm sure. Did you pose very well, or did you just pose, like you normally would in a picture?
I just did the finger point gimmick. That's
Like,
all I did.
yeah.
That's all I could do.
Wanna
I'm
be
awkward, so.
Triple H over here. Wanna be Triple H over here.
Oh no, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
But now that you say that, that's pretty funny.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But I mean, you mentioned the Vic the Bruiser. Of course, he retired this past weekend. We don't want to spoil it because I don't know, it might be uploaded somewhere or who knows. But all I want to know is the differences, because the picture you sent us, which we're using for this for the thumbnail and the promotional of this, it didn't look like it was the same ref gear you wore for his event. Like,
For Vic's
yeah,
show,
yeah, like it didn't really fit you, if that makes sense. Than in the pictures you sent us.
I'm confused. What are you talking about? The Vic show, my outfit?
Yeah. So what I mean is, in the picture you sent us to use for the promotional and the thumbnail section, you look more thinner. But in the show on Saturday, it looked like you've not really prepared yourself for the event, if that makes sense.
Oh no, the same thing. I don't, maybe I just was unflattering on Saturday night, or maybe I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry, I'm not trying to accuse you of anything here, by the way. I don't want that to come across out of context, people. So please don't be offended by that. It was not meant to be offensive
No,
at all.
no,
Okay.
you're good.
But let's move on. Of course, you've Vic the Bruiser retired, obviously, and you had some interesting encounters with Vic the Bruiser in the last year. What was your favourite moments of being inside of the ring with Vic the Bruiser then? I know it's one of mine was.
Inside the being Yeah, being inside the ring with Vic,
Yeah,
probably my favorite.
yeah.
There's been two situations, or no, really just one situation where I didn't have a very pleasant experience with Vic in the ring. Um, but the best, my most fond memory of being in the ring with Vic was probably Saturday night. Yeah, at the retirement show. It was just me, Vic, and Sexy Stan Sierra in the ring, with hundreds of people surrounding the ring, and it's just them two staring holes into each other's eyes, and the crowd just erupting. Gave me cold chills for sure. Vic, maybe a tear or two might have fell out of his eye in that moment. It was just very, it was a very special moment. and just for me to be so young in the business, and such spend such little time, it was just very. I was very honored to be in that spot, refing his first match, and of course later in the match there wound up being multiple other referees uh, because of certain circumstances. But that moment was probably the best one. Just sharing that moment with him and Stan after they have shared the ring with each other, fought each other, teamed up with each other for years, like over a decade, probably decades, and to be in that one moment, one last time, them wrestling each other, that was special. So
I
probably
bet it
that was
was.
the most fond memory. Now, do you want the worst memory?
Go ahead. Yeah, you can tell your worst memory, but what you did not like about Victor Bruiser then?
Oh no, I love Vic the
No, I
Bruiser,
mean
but
like in
there
I
the
mean like in ring
Vic's.
terms, in inside of the ring. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. The one not so fond memory I have of Vic was in Nicholasville, Kentucky, for the United States Wrestling Federation. It was a fair show, and after the match, I thought we were good. Everything was good. I believe Vic won,
Yeah, I
or
think he
maybe
did.
Vic lost. Maybe he got
Okay.
cheated. He was wrestling. He was wrestling Stan Sierra, who was the same guy he wrestled in his last match.
Interesting.
Do you remember if
Interesting.
Vic did Vic win? Did Vic win or lose that match in Nicholasville?
Well, I
Do you
thought
remember?
he won, but I'm not
Do you
seeing the whole
remember?
match. I just seen pictures, but they didn't tell the whole story.
Okay, okay. So he might have won.
Sorry,
But regardless whether he won or lost, I wound up being dumped on my head with a Rikishi driver,
Rikishi
um,
Driver.
out of
Nice name.
nowhere. So it was
But
it
I
was
would
that was
say he
probably that's probably my
dropped
least
you.
favorite.
He dropped you actually on the belt as well. I must mention that he was actually on the
Oh
belt.
yeah, I see. I got knocked on my head. I forgot that part that he did drop. He did the Rikishi driver on the belt as well. So, and I believe that was the Ultimate Championship Wrestling belt, if I'm not mistaken. That was a yeah. That was my first time. I believe that was my first time in the ring with Vic. And
Nice.
fun fact, later that night, after I got carried to the back and I was I was out for a bit. I was out of it. After I get to the back, Vic gives me a hug and says, he checks on me and everything, and then he asked if I would referee his retirement show, and that was the night that I found out I was going to be repping his retirement show. So
Well, that's
yeah,
quite good. Obviously, you must have
very that was a very
impressed him
special night.
a lot.
Maybe he saw that I was tough and I was on my feet after that Rikishi driver, and he's like, you know what, this guy, not he might be all right. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Of course, that was back in July, and that was about about 9 or 10 weeks ago. I think it was in that kind of terms. 4 months, 5 months ago. Since July when it was nice and warm. Now it's all freezing cold, almost Christmas. And must before we go any
right.
further, we want to know what your plans for Christmas this year.
My plans for Christmas this
Yeah, what
year.
do you do at Christmas time?
Well,
That's what everybody wants to know.
oh, Arrow. Okay,
Yeah,
all
I
right.
don't know, but
Well,
I'm just
Christmas
saying that. I
time.
don't know
I
if people
mean,
care or
obviously.
not, but I do.
Okay, well, obviously spend time with family. That's the first thing.
Yes, the most
I'm off
boring
of
bit about
school,
yeah,
so
yeah, boring bit about that. Everyone says
oh,
that.
nah. But I believe I have. I know for a fact around Christmas time I have one wrestling show, and it is Unsanctioned Pros No Ring show. I believe I'm the only ref on that show.
Really? Oh, you got a hard
But it
job
is a
then,
no.
isn't it?
It's my first no ring show, and so that's going to be very interesting.
Who's booked?
But yeah, Columbus, Ohio, unsanctioned. Lord Crew is booked. Aaron Williams is booked. Um, I can't remember the card on the top of my head, but a lot. I believe Mad Dog Conley is booked. Just all of the unsanctioned pro stars that you see on IWTV. I mean, here's my chance to put over unsanctioned pro. Unsanctioned pro. If you are if you are not on the bandwagon for unsanctioned pro, you need to get on now because unsanctioned pro is one of the most slept on promotions in North America. It's awesome. Uh, it is. They haven't put on a bad show in like the past 2 years. So if you have IWTV, check out Unsanctioned Pro. If you're around Columbus, actually, no, I take it back. You can't come to the show on December the 23rd because it's sold out. So yeah, they sold out the day that they announced the event. So yeah, December 23rd, around Christmas time. I'm going to be in Columbus for that show. So
Columbus,
besides
Ohio.
that, family.
Yes.
So besides family, um, and traveling and with family and friends, and of course Christmas presents and all that stuff, I've got wrestling. So that's what Christmas is looking like for referee Peyton.
Yes, very fun indeed, and you get to go to the worst state in America, Columbus, Ohio. Enjoy yourself in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, man.
That's because people in Ohio have nothing else to do, so they're gonna go to unsanctioned pro. They're gonna cheer for the people they like. They're gonna boo the people they don't like, and maybe you get a cheer as well, perhaps. But we'll see.
Maybe, yeah. No, I don't have nothing against Ohio. My favorite sports teams are from Ohio.
Oh God.
I'm a Kentucky guy.
Yeah,
but
loving Ohio sports.
The only thing I don't like about Ohio is the drivers. People from Ohio can't drive, and that's a well-known fact around the country. So that's the only thing I'm not a big fan of Ohio. But no, you're not going to get any Ohio hate from me besides that. So sorry, Edward.
Well, you got all the worst football teams in Ohio as well. You got the Bengals. They're quite poo, aren't they? But I mean,
they're only one of the best in the league. I mean, they beat Kansas City.
Yeah, but they're not going to get to the Super Bowl. Believe me, they're not going to get to the Super Bowl. And by the way, I must say as well, I must have to say that unfortunately the USA are not a good team because they could not get past the Netherlands. Just saying. But don't worry don't worry. We'll be with you on Saturday night when we get beat by France because it's going to go to penalties. It's going to be a very boring game, just like when we meet. It's going to be a very boring game. It's going to go to penalties, and I think France will beat England on penalties. You hear an Englishman saying that we're going to get beat. I'm hoping I'm proven wrong, but I just don't see a game past France.
Well, here's the thing. I hate to go back with that. Yeah, I know the men's national team is not doing so hot right now, but the Bengals, I will not take this Bengals slander. Last year, everybody counted us out in the beginning of the season. Just a bunch of bums. Jamar Chase is going to be a bust. And then what happens? We make a run and we make it to the Super Bowl where we barely lose to an amazing LA Rams. So
yeah, the Rams are a better team, but this year they are absolutely poor. The Rams. So I don't know what's happened there, but yeah, I was rooting for the Rams the whole season when, of course, the Las Vegas couldn't do it because they decided to get rid of the manager, bring in this other guy who did a pretty good job. He got to the playoffs, but then it didn't work out. But then I rooted for the Rams.
I've got some Raiders. I've got some friends that are Raiders fans. I like Derek. I've been a big Derek Carr supporter since he joined the league. So you won't catch me hating on the Raiders either.
Good.
So
good. This is good for me.
I refuse to accept this Bengals slander, though. Not a chance. No, we can't do that.
Okay. Well, let's move on as well because you've obviously seen the footage, which we showed right here on the show. From a few weeks ago when Kongo Kong came on. Of course, you were there in person when it actually happened. But we reviewed the footage right here with Kongo Kong, and you've heard what Kongo Kong had to say. So, from what Kongo Kong had to say when I asked him about the conversation which we had about you at the XCF reunion show, as I would call it, back on IWTV. If you've not seen the show, go check it out on IWTV today. It's worth the watch to see Peyton, being owned by Kongo Kong. Give us your side of the events of what you've, of how it went down from your perspective. We heard what went down from Kongo Kong's perspective. We'd love to know what you thought.
So get to the venue, the world famous Jeffersonville Arena, 1416 Spring Street, Jeffersonville, Indiana. And so get to the venue, go down to the locker room. Who do I see? I see Kongo Kong and his handler. And I approached them very carefully, of course, just because Kongo Kong is a very scary man.
Yes, he is.
And or if
Yes.
you want to call him a man, he's a beast. And I find out, oh, I'm refing Kongo Kong's match.
Which is a huge honor
So
because
I
I
go
don't think
approach
you've
Kongo
ever,
Kong.
I don't think you've ever refereed this match before, have you?
No, I never shared a locker room with Kongo Kong. I had heard many horror stories about sharing a locker room with Kongo Kong. I'd heard many praises of Kongo Kong, so I didn't know really what to expect.
Interesting.
But I said, "Sir, I'm going to be your referee," and I walk through the rules and just make sure. I know he knows the rules, but I've seen some footage and watching his matches on Impact and Global Force Wrestling over the years. I see that he does not really follow the rules as much as he should, being the referee. And I walked through the rules, and he was cool. His manager was very cool. They acknowledged it, and they seemed to respect my authority. And then we go out to the match. He comes out, and seemed like there was an attitude change in the middle of the match. Like he was very hostile in the beginning, but then he started warming up to me and was following the rules. And I just, whenever he would get close, I would remind him, "Hey, don't do that. I'm the official. I don't want to call the match. I want to see him and Dan Moff have an awesome match because I don't believe they've ever wrestled before that night." And so everything goes good. I count to three on Congo, or Dan Moff gets beat 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Kongo Kong wins, and his manager goes and gets a chair to beat up Dan Moff, who's already down on the mat. He's out, and I can't watch that happen. Like, I'm supposed to uphold the rules. The match is over. That's it. At that point, it's no longer sanctioned, and I don't want anybody to get in trouble. So I get the chair, I pull it down, throw it down outside the ring, and Kongo Kong, he didn't seem to like that. I said, "Listen, I'm the official. You can't do this. We just had a great match. It's over." And he said, "Raise my hand." So I will go to raise his hand, and the rest you guys know about. He choke slams me and rips my shirt off and throws me out the ring, and it was it was not a good night. I believe I was yeah, that was it for me that night. That was my first time ever taking a choke slam. Didn't didn't ever want to take a choke slam, let alone from Kongo Kong. That was a but yeah, that's I believe that's my side of the story. But listen, I know I heard what he said. He said I was being really pushy with my authority, and he thinks that I put these zebra stripes on, and I have all this authority. Well, I do. That's the reason Shane Mercer brings me in to uphold the rules, and so we have good wrestling matches that are in the boundaries of the rules of wrestling and the rules that are in the match. So that was a singles match. Um, there was no special rules. It wasn't a no disqualification match. So I have to call the rules, and I have to call right down the middle, and that's what the fans expect me to do. And I thought that's what Kongo Kong expected of me after our conversation in the back, but I was wrong. So what do you do?
Well, well, that's what happens when cross Kongo Kong. I was quite surprised though that they didn't use a chair on you, because I was hoping they would add more punishment to Dan Moff and send him back to maybe what is it, Philadelphia he's from, or somewhere around there, somewhere around the East Coast,
Yeah,
somewhere.
right,
Send him back.
northeast.
Yeah, send him back to where he came from. So I thought, add insult to injury. Why not? Nobody's going to see this Dan Moff again here in Indiana. So let's get rid of him. I was excited to see that until you decide to be the star of the show, get the spotlight on you, and take the chair away. And then we all loved what happened next. And apparently the manager of Kongo Kong said that we're now good guys here in Indiana, because I believe they were getting booed at the start of the match, and by the end of all the match, they're being cheered out of there like good guys. And I believe as well, I think he
Well,
kicked you as well in your back as he was leaving the ring.
yes, he did. So yeah,
Was that to wake you up or something? It's just quite odd.
I think it was I think it was just like you heard him say in your interview that he was apparently tired of me doing my job, and he just showed a big lack of respect for me. And but listen, I'm a new referee in the business, and it comes with the territory. Us Zebras kind of get walked on, but it's our job to stand our ground and let them know who is the authority in the match. Because if there was no authority in the match, it wouldn't be a wrestling match.
Yeah.
It would just be a fight with no rules. And what do you get out of that? So, but
Yeah,
it
yeah, I get
happened.
that.
Maybe someday Kongo Kong and I can make things right, and who knows? But or maybe the contrary will happen. I don't know. But yeah, that's what happened in Jeffersonville in November. I believe it was November. Yeah.
November. Okay. Yes, it was November. Yes, you're right. It was November. I don't know what month it is anymore. They all come into one. But I must have to say though as well on that topic, you mentioned about maybe you and Konga can come to some agreement. Well, just do what Jake Lloyd did in OVW. He wanted to fight with Freya the Slayer.
You know what's crazy?
Oh, go on.
Hold up, Edward. You know what's crazy? You just now mentioned Jake Cloyd.
Yeah.
Literally 5 seconds ago, Jake Cloyd just sent me a text.
Oh, what did he
just
say?
I had to throw that out there.
What did he
Literally.
say? Can you reveal it or not?
He says, "Oh yeah," he says, "Love the zebra background." So Jake Cloyd is OVW referee. Jake Cloyd's watching, and it's insane that you just mentioned him and he texted me. So sorry, carry on.
I'm in sync.
I know.
That's what it is. I read people's mind. That's what it is, Peyton. You gotta get used to that. But no, speaking about referee Jake Cloyd, just do what he did. He wanted to fight Freya the Slayer. He almost got the chance to before that silly guy, that idiot. Aaron Goober, as I call him here on this show, don't care about his real name. Who cares? And he almost got the win against him until Freya the Slayer stuck her nose in where it didn't belong. And I hope she gets what's coming to her.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Edward. All right.
And you were supporting him as well on Twitter of Aaron Goober.
Yes. Listen. Hold up. I have shared a locker room with Jake Cloyd and Aaron Greider. I very much appreciate both those men. I think both of those men are great officials in the wrestling business. I look up to both of those men. But listen, you know who gave me my first shot in Indiana professional wrestling?
Yeah.
Paradigm Pro Wrestling. And who was the avenue of that? It was Sean Patrick O'Brien, Max Recon, and your man, Aaron
Gruber.
So I owe a debt to Aaron Greider.
Gruber.
I am an Aaron Greider man through and through, and I'm sorry, Jake Cloyd. But I was cheering for the one, the only, the greatest bowler in the state of Kentucky, Aaron Greider. That's who I was cheering for.
No. He's not the greatest bowler
at all. That doesn't take away my love and appreciation for Jake Cloyd. I big Jake Cloyd fan.
Sure you are.
But I had to pull for my man Aaron Greider. Listen, Aaron Greider and I both share the glasses. So I had to cheer for Aaron Greider too. So.
Yeah. You didn't want to get on his bad side because you know what would happen then. Freya the Slayer will come after you, and you know the whole process. So while we have her come down on you, you thought let's just side with him, let him win type thing. But just to let you know though, Freya the Slayer will get what she will get to her. Either that's through Jake Cloyd or somebody else. She will get what is coming to her sooner or later. But speaking about Jake Cloyd, he's probably now left the show, by the way, after that long woo-hag. He wanted to know, which I wanted to know as well, actually. It's quite funny. Again, I'm in sync, these people. I'm in sync, these people. So I messaged him before asking him if he had any questions for you today, which he politely said yes, he does. And he's a friend of the show, by the way, so that's why he gets a show. And that's why he tuned in for once. That's the first time he tuned in watching. But no, he wanted to know from me to you, a bit similar to what I said to Freya on his behalf as well. And he's not a scaredy cat either. I don't care what people say. He's not a scaredy cat. He's just a very busy guy, more busier than Peyton. He wants to know
Gotcha.
what his next steps are to help further your career as a referee. Nice
My
question.
next steps. That is a very good question.
Because
So
mine was a bit similar to that, but go ahead with yours.
yeah, what are my next steps to make that next big jump in professional wrestling? So contrary to what a lot of referees, very young referees, a lot of young referees that you see are wrestlers in training who are trying to get in the business as a wrestler and maybe try to learn the rules better as a referee. They're in the ring, they get in ring experience, but they're not taking all the beating as a wrestler would. So a lot of referees don't have a good or long lifespan because they become wrestlers. Well, I don't want to become a professional wrestler. I joined the business as a referee. I want to stay a referee. So my next steps, I'm doing my best every week for those next steps. This weekend, or let me start. Um, so let me go to the beginning of my career. I started at this promotion in Kentucky. It didn't have the best reputation, but it was one of the cheapest, and it was the closest to me, which I know that's not the way to go about it. I tell people every time they ask me about getting the business, don't do what I did, especially if you want to be a pro wrestler. Um, but I did that, spent a year in Kentucky, and at this one promotion, who had a lot of pros, a lot of cons, and but after my year was up and the promotion folded, I went and I made all the connections I could because I wanted to work for Paradigm Pro Wrestling because I knew a lot of guys on TV. They started in Paradigm Pro Wrestling at the Jeffersonville Arena, not in front of the biggest crowd, but it is where a lot of names um, come from, and I wanted to be involved with that. So I got involved with Paradigm Pro. Like I said, Aaron Greider, Sean Patrick O'Brien, and Max Recon got me the gig there, and now I'm a part of the official Paradigm Pro roster. Um, and that's it's just stuff like that. I see promotions I want to work for. I see promotions that are big stepping stones. OVW is one of those promotions that I have yet to work for, but it is something that I would like to do in the future.
Are you going to have your friend
But I'm
Aaron
doing
help you
things.
with that?
I have two friends that could help me with that, but I don't know. But
I
right
know who
now
the
where
other
I'm
one
at,
is.
I'm looking at these. Yeah, I'm looking at these big independent promotions who don't have TV shows, who don't have a TV deal or a Netflix deal. I'm looking at these. I'm looking at these bigger independent promotions who are on pay per view, who are on IWTV. That being, so I went to Paradigm Pro, then I went to Unsanctioned Pro, and I'm doing these bigger super indie feds, if you want to call them that. And like this past weekend, I was at Cincy Wrestling, shared a locker room with Dan Severn and a lot of big names, Zachary Wentz, um, a lot of great talent. And then Sunday, I was at Game Changer Wrestling. It was my second time at Game Changer Wrestling. It's just stuff like that. That's what I'm doing to further to take that next step in my future. Is just show my face at these promotions, even if I don't get to referee in the show. Like this past Sunday at GCW, I didn't get the referee, but I got to go in the locker room. I got to see everybody. I got to show my face and um, just try to make an impression. And it's pretty cool going to those shows and seeing people I have worked with, and they kind of vouch for me, like, hey, this kid's cool. That means a lot. But besides that, going to promotions like Black Label Pro, I went to one Black Label Pro show, hopped in a car with somebody, and it was hopped in a car with Billy Starks to Black Label Pro up in Chicago or near Chicago, and I'm refereeing the show. It was awesome, and now because of that one show, I went to Black Label Pro. I also went to a show in Nashville for Black Label Pro, but because of that, of me taking a chance, knowing I'm probably not going to get paid for this, but I'm taking a chance just to take that next step. Now I am a part of the Black Label Pro 2023 ref roster, so I'm on every show in Black Label for Black Label Pro, in 2023. And I'm stoked for that. It's just, but yeah, going to Jake Lloyd's question, just taking chances, going to these bigger promotions, and not being happy where I am, if that makes sense. Like never just trying to stay at the same level, but always constantly trying to take that next step and meet this next person and share a carload with this person. And it's just, yeah, it's just taking big steps as much as I can and not killing myself in the process. So hope, does that answer the question, do you think?
Well, hopefully.
I can ramble on.
I know you can ramble. Yes. This is okay. I'm sure Jake will be very happy with that. I'm sure he might send you another text to say thank you for answering my question or something. Who knows? But at least he has your number. That's the main thing, I guess. That's more than what I have anyway. So there you go. Probably because I'm in England and in America. But there you go. Or maybe it's because people don't want my number because they might get hacked. You never know. So that's.
Oh, you've got a history of that, don't you, Edward?
I do. I don't know. I just blame everybody. I blame everybody. But no, it's a good question, wasn't it? Because my question was very similar, as in if you were hired by a big company. What that would mean for you personally and professionally.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, if I was hired by, if I had a promotion reach out to me or want to sign me to a contract, that's the dream. And it's crazy because I got in the business. I just wanted to be involved in whatever capacity, and refereeing just happened to be the capacity that I was like, you know what, I want to do this. My logic was because I get to be in the wrestling ring more than a wrestler, really. Yeah. And it's just because I've always loved wrestling. And so if I was to be signed by like a television company or whatever, it'd be a dream come true. But if that doesn't happen, it's cool. Like I'm living my dream, doing what I'm doing now. Like I never thought me attending wrestling shows whenever I was in high school, middle school, elementary school, that somebody would want me to come on their show and interview me as a wrestling talent. Like that's already like way above what I ever dreamed of. So if everything was to end this weekend, I'm going to New Jersey for the first time.
New Jersey, God.
This business.
You're going to the wrong
This
states,
business has given me. But this business has given me the opportunity to travel the country in places I've never been to. And it's just, yeah, I'm living the dream right now. And but if that does happen.
Are you refereeing in New Jersey? New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, two shows.
Have fun in New Jersey. I'm sure the people in New Jersey will know who you are. or if they don't,
yeah, the two shows I'm refereeing. I'm sorry.
I'm saying that if they won't by the start of it, by the end of it, they will, one way or another.
Yeah. And here's the thing: I'm just like I said, I'm just trying to show my face to people that hold. I don't know what the word is. Hold some weight in the wrestling business. So I'm going to H2O on Friday, which is Matt Tremont's promotion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ETU, Expect the Unexpected, which is the Struggles promotion in New Jersey, and those are just two really icons in independent wrestling, deathmatch wrestling. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, a bit gory for me, those type of things. But I do know of H2O. Didn't know about that other promotions. That's something new. But I'll be staying away from those. Though.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'm doing a death match this weekend. I don't.
Okay.
I don't expect to. But they do some of those stuff. So
yeah. It's just a bit too extreme for my liking. I did my ECW, but this new stuff is just a bit too extreme for my liking. Let's move on to your social medias before we move on any further, because we've been showcasing them on your screen throughout the show. But you can follow him, I guess, somehow. You can find him on Facebook, where you can actually send him a friend request if you've got an issue with Peyton, if you've got a question or any advice which you may think might be useful to help you to start your career in a non-wrestling world, perhaps he may be your man. Referee Peyton Bowman on Facebook. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Peyton the Ref, which is a nice handle. And you're doing quite well for followers. You know, you're in your 100s. I'm in the 800s. However, but you'll be beating me soon, though. Without any doubt.
I don't know, because it's funny because Juicy Jimmy Felcher, which is he's my wrestling business dad. He's not my ref dad. Sean Patrick O'Brien is my ref dad, but my wrestling dad in general is Juicy Jimmy Felcher. He's done so much for me. But he's like, dude, you need to get on more socials. And I was like, sure, I'll sign up for Twitter. I don't ever use Twitter. I really don't use Twitter that much now.
Yes, you do. Stop lying. Stop lying, because you do. You may not post.
Listen.
You don't post, but you do retweet and you do like a lot. Believe me, I see your tweets on people's tweets coming on my feed. So you do use Twitter quite a lot.
Edward, wait. What I mean is, like, I don't market myself as well as I should on Twitter. I do use Twitter. I like my friends' posts or tweets or whatever they're called. I retweet, but I don't market myself the way I should on Twitter, which is the reason I have Twitter, is to market myself and like to try to build my brand more. But that's what I mean by I don't post much, is that. So, but yes, I do have Twitter at Peyton the Ref. I do have Instagram at Peyton the Ref. And you see how active I am on Instagram, but if you guys want to follow me, ask me questions.
You're barely active on there, more or less active on Twitter. Now, will this mean you be getting a TikTok as well?
Nah, I can't do TikTok. That's where I
you might get famous on TikTok.
I set the line at TikTok. I don't do TikTok.
What about Pinterest?
I can't do TikTok. Pinterest. Nah, I'm not gonna do a referee Peyton Pinterest.
Well, apparently they do videos nowadays on Pinterest. I have no idea. Last time I went on Pinterest, all you could do is like pictures and post pictures, but apparently you can do videos or something on there. No idea. But anyway, just thought to throw that in the mix. Never used it. Maybe even Tumblr. Is Tumblr even still a thing, or that you?
I think whenever people were trying or making all this racket about jumping ship from Twitter, Tumblr, people were like, yeah, I'm going back to Tumblr. And then so Tumblr is still a thing. Hive was a thing for a minute, but I don't see anybody doing Hive anymore. I didn't do Hive.
Did you?
But
See, Hive over here is not very big, so I've not got a clue what Hive is or anything like that.
It's not big in the States either. It's just one of those things where people were trying to make all this racket about leaving Twitter. They're like, yeah, I'm going to Hive. Follow me on Hive. But nobody uses it anymore.
I don't think anybody used it when it first came out. It's been irrelevant ever since it came out, whenever that was. It's hard to say. Today they keep doing that button. Keep pressing the wrong button. This is very common for me. So let's talk about this as well, because you've been in the business since 2021, is it? 2021 you came in that company you mentioned in Kentucky. That's when I came across you. Of course, means I've been on your journey, as I would say, since near the beginning, before you even knew who I was.
Right.
Because I got in contact with you, I believe, in the September of last year. Seems longer than that, but apparently that was when I first got in contact with you, and you were very slow back then to respond, but you did eventually respond, and then when you branched out, as they say,
it's
a bit more.
It's a lot because the promotion I was at was very staunch about you don't go to other promotions, you don't talk to other promotions. It was very, very old school in that sense. So that's why I was quiet.
Not even fans.
Yeah.
Not even fans. Fair enough. And of course, that company, I believe, no longer exists or is on hiatus, whatever.
They're not running anymore.
Yeah, that's a shame. However, but bright and beyond to everybody, hopefully involved in that company. Hopefully, they found new homes and able to do their thing in other places to get more exposure. Now, you mentioned Sean Patrick. That's right. You mentioned him. I can't remember his last name. So if you're watching,
Sean
Nothing.
Patrick O'Brien.
That's right,
Yes.
O'Brien. That's right. Such sort of an Irish name, isn't it, O'Brien? Um, maybe he's well, he just told me from Ireland. But of course, he's been around since around I think 2017. I think something
Oh
around.
no, I believe he's been around longer than that, I
Okay.
think. But he's a referee. You might know him as referee Man Bun,
Yeah, yeah. Because I
or
remember because he first
SPO.
came on the scene in the teens. Because I know that for a fact because he just showed up in IWA Mid South and another
Yes.
company, which was like OSCW or something, old school championship wrestling, but then got renamed to something else in Indiana. He's been around for a while, but I was thinking it was more like maybe 2015 onwards,
Yes,
somewhere
that
around
sounds
there.
about right.
Yeah, okay, 2015. I know. I was watching those companies before he showed up, so if I know that I've been watching those kind of companies before this guy showed up out of the blue. So and he's still there today. No, maybe not in those companies, but he's still around in the wrestling world today, and he's getting some interesting opportunities himself, and bringing you. With him, because he does post a lot on Twitter and tags you in them. I see you're looking to your left.
Yes. Sorry, somebody walked in the room.
Oh,
It's okay.
I thought there was a
I'm
producer saying, "Can you wrap this up?"
no, it's but yeah, Sean Patrick O'Brien. Yeah, he was at IWA for years,
Mm.
and then just things happened, and he went to bigger, better places, and then IWA is, of course, IWA did what IWA does, and yeah, they're not around anymore.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, because they got a lot of history, that company. They did many years ago, and but I'm just saying that's where I first saw him at there and
Yeah, that's where I
SW.
first saw him.
Ah, there you go. There you go. See, quite
He's
quite.
one of those guys. I have to talk about Sean Patrick O'Brien. He's one of those guys where he was the first guy I watched. Like, man, I mean, besides, like, of course, Bryce Remsburg and Mike Chioda and Charles Robinson, he was one of those guys that I watched and, like, wow, that's unique. He's not distracting from the match, but he makes it seem like it's a more real. He adds to the realism of it, and that's what I really liked about Sean. And you can probably watch a lot of my matches and then watch a Sean Patrick O'Brien match and say, oh, this very similar mannerisms, or I see some similarities between those two, and it's no coincidence. Sean Patrick O'Brien has been like my ref idol. I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah, Sean
Yeah.
Patrick. He's my ref dad.
Fair enough, fair enough. So if I did mention, like, you mentioned Bryce Rensburg, I don't know if we can mention him here or not, so don't get copyrighted. Um, as well, I'm surprised you mentioned Mike Yoda, obviously, and you mentioned Charles Robinson, and surprised you mentioned Chad Patton or even Brian Hebner, or even
Yeah,
Earl Hebner, but there you go. But I can understand when you mentioned Sean Patrick because you know him on a personal level.
yeah. It was just referees like Mike Chioda growing up, like, always caught my eye. He was just very serious, and just he just adds to the realism of it. And of course, Charles Robinson, I liked him because he was more animated. He was reacting to moves more, and it's just I enjoyed that aspect of it. And then I started watching more independent wrestling, and I fell in love with Bryce Remsburg. His stuff with Chikara. He did some IWA whenever they were in the East Coast. He was CZW stuff, but mainly Chikara. I fell in love with Bryce Remsburg because he was everything. He did the comedy stuff. He added to the realism of it. He took stuff serious, and he was also really animated and very mobile in the ring. And I fell in love with that. And then, of course, Sean Patrick O'Brien, just in recent history, watching IWA, watching ICW, watching some of the GCW stuff he did, just fell in love with his work. And so those are probably like that'd be like the Mount Rushmore of my referee, who I watch to imitate. And in recent times, most recently, Dan Purge has been one of those guys that I watch and just love all that he does.
Yeah, he's
Like,
been on this
he's
show.
he's he's a star.
He's been on the
Right.
show. Well, technically he has been on the show, but not on this YouTube channel. He did come on this YouTube channel, but before that video got removed by YouTube because of thanks to me. So he's technically have been on the show, but not actually on the channel. If that makes sense. But
Yeah, I got you.
but yeah, he's been on the show under the name brand. He's a cool guy, I like him. On MLW as well. Got a big opportunity to work on there a few years ago, so that's quite cool to see him on there because it was on UK TV to more viewers than it is now. And that brings us to the next topic because you kind of cut me off earlier about Kongo Kong. As I was going to mention about Jake Cloyd. I mentioned about maybe as I was saying that maybe you mentioned about Kongo Kong and yourself, hatching things out. I was more thinking maybe you could follow Jake Cloyd's footsteps and have a match with Kongo Kong. I would love to see that happen.
If I was to have a match with Kongo Kong,
Yeah, I would love to see that. Love to see that.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would love to see that.
Yeah,
but here's the thing.
I will pay you. I will pay you. I will pay you to make that happen.
Well, here's the thing. All right. It can't be in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because it can't be in the state of Kentucky. Can't be in the state of Ohio because I have to have a license.
Oh, wow! I didn't know there was a license. I thought it was a
they apparently they do now.
Oh, right.
It's silly, but I'd have to have a license in Ohio or in Kentucky, which I am not getting ever. You're not going to catch me doing that. And two, it's not going to be as entertaining as you think because it's going to last probably 10 seconds.
Well, unless it's a no DQ match, and then you can use weapons, and you can use a weapon. It'd be a bit more fairer for you, though, won't it? I think it'd be more entertaining for everybody. But
I don't know if you see my arms. I don't think that these arms are going to do any damage. Whether I have a chair, whether I have a kendo stick, or I don't even think a gun's going to stop Kongo Kong. So,
well, be careful you say that, but. Maybe you should do a fan poll and see what the people want to see, and see if they want a no DQ match or a normal singles match or no match at all between you two. But I think people would love to see that.
I'm gonna have to say, you said you're gonna pay me money. It's gonna take a lot of money for me to sign the contract to wrestle Kongo Kong.
I would love to see that, but again, we can all dream. But I mean, maybe you and Jake Cloyd could do a match. I was speaking with Jake the other day, and I mentioned to him that you were defending Aaron Ginder, and I said maybe you should have a fight with him. And I don't know if Jake was up for that or not, but I think he's quite a good fighter. He's quite muscular. He's prepared for it. He's been working out. Maybe not his legs. He needs to do some work on his legs, and they're not very.
I do
muscular.
I do have something to say. I do have one thing of experience in a wrestling ring. I have never been pinned. I have had a pin attempt.
Yes, you
but
have.
I've never been pinned.
Yes.
Rob Killjoy rolled me up and I kicked out at 2.
Yes, you did.
So I mean, I do have that experience. I don't know exactly how that would have worked in the sanction of the match, but yeah, we're talking about Jake Cloyd, though. I don't know that I would. I saw him in the singlet. He seems like he has an amateur wrestling background. I don't know that I want to be involved.
Why not? He's got some great skills, and that singlet was absolutely fantastic. He was telling me the other day that he's going to sell it. It's like, why? Why sell it? He could use it again for another match. And he said that if he does do another match, he's going to buy another one. That's a waste of money. By the time he gets the money for that one, he'd be using the same amount of money to buy the next one. It makes no sense at all. That's my opinion, by the way. But there you go. But no, I just wanted to mention that because I didn't get a chance to mention about that before. So I just want to bring it up quickly. Before as well, you mentioned about working for OVW in 2023. Hopefully you can. And hopefully someone can get you hooked up with the people in management there. It could be quite fun to see you in Ohio Valley Wrestling on a weekly basis in Lexington, Kentucky, with, of course, my good friend of the show, Jake Cloyd. I'm sure he will put you in line, saying that I'm more respectable official, and that you have to work your way upwards to get to Jake's level. But who knows? We'll see.
It's interesting about OVW because Um, OVW is, of course, is like in Kentucky. It's like the number one promotion. It has
Yeah,
been for
20 odd
for
years.
decades,
Yeah.
and that was my first ever wrestling show was an OVW show
Oh, cool.
in 2004 in London, Kentucky, the Optimus Club.
Wow.
I got to work a show there earlier this like at that venue
Oh, good.
earlier this year, and that was like a check off the bucket list. But it would be just another check off the bucket list if I got to work for the promotion that put on the show, very first wrestling show I ever went to. So yeah, that's the big part of it. Of course, like the stepping stones of just, oh yeah, Ohio Valley Wrestling on my resume. So yeah, it's just again, just living the dream. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So, you mentioned as well earlier about upcoming shows for the next month or so. Um, who is your dream match to referee in next year then, which you've not had the chance
You
to work
talking
with?
like who's one wrestler I would like to ref a
Yeah,
match
yeah,
for?
or two, yeah, depending who
Hmm.
they are. Yeah, who you've not had chance
I
to
will
yet.
give one I'll give a wrestler and then two I'll give a match. Does that
Okay,
work?
that's fine with me. Whatever works for
Okay,
you.
so first the wrestler I want to work ref a match for. Oh man, probably gonna have to be the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. He's a guy that I have watched for years on the indie scene and have admired his work. And then now he's been on TV and he's Ring of Honor champion for so long, and um, he's still on the indie scene right now. So it's definitely a possibility in 2023. That would
Never
be
say never.
so. That's just yeah, that'd be a big checklist, bucket list thing for Jonathan Gresham. But a match I would want. Man, what match comes to mind?
Yeah, what's come to
Um,
mind, Peyton? Tell us what match comes to your mind or if you want to be involved with.
oh man, you put me on the spot.
Of course, this is off the cuff conversation. These questions are not scripted, by the way, so my guest has no idea what I'm going to say next. Well, he could do if you looked in the YouTube comments. Sometimes I do post some questions in there, but most of the chat is absolutely not rehearsed, as you can tell.
all right. Well, I'll say this. Just throwing one out there.
Yeah.
Black Label Pros. I'm part of their ref roster for this upcoming season,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just I guess Billy Starks versus Calvin Tankman, their rematch. That's the one that's on my mind right now. I don't just where I'm new. I don't expect me to get the match, but you asked for my dream match. That would
Yeah.
probably be my dream match for 2023. It's Billy Starks versus uh, Calvin Tankman for the Black Label Pro Championship. Because if you watch the last Black Label Pro show, Billy Starks had to rely on Levi Everett to beat down Calvin Tankman, and then she cashed in her title shot and beat a lifeless Calvin Tankman. So she has it coming. And Calvin Tankman's a dangerous. I've watched Calvin Tankman and Billy Starks wrestle before,
Yeah.
and it did not work. It did not end up well for Billy Starks. So, but that would be the dream match for 2023, just at the top of my head. So,
And you can see that happen on Fight TV. That's correct, isn't it?
it depends. They are live on IWTV. Sometimes they are live on Fight TV.
Gotcha. Just
Most
depends.
recently, it was Fight TV. So
Yes.
Fight Plus, more
Yes. Get
specifically.
in Fight TV, the best sports brand out there, because they follow me. They know who I am, so I'm happy with that. Don't know why they know me, but then they follow me, so I follow them back. Um, well, I follow them first, and then they follow me back eventually. If I don't mind. You mentioned about going to all these different states. This is great and everything, but when are you going to come and pop across the ocean to England?
Dude, well, I would love to. Plan is right now to go to Paris, France for my birthday next year to see Blink 182.
That's
That's
your
the
goal.
plan right
That's your
now.
goal. Gotcha.
So yes, but in terms of wrestling, man, just whenever somebody reaches out and says, "Hey, we want you to work for me in the UK," it's my dream to go to the UK. I'm a big Liverpool Football Club fan, and so
Boo.
that's just to go into Anfield and just
Boo.
enjoy a match. But yet I love English culture, and English wrestling too.
Yes.
I was a big Progress fan, and um, yeah, so uh, I would love to work in England. It's just a matter, or the UK. It's just a matter of somebody saying, "Hey, here's your plane ticket, here's your booking fee. We'd love to have you." So
Yeah. Yeah.
if it
Well, the
happens,
only,
that'd be awesome.
yeah, the only thing which we would disagree on there is that you are a big Scouser Liverpool fan, while the best team in the whole of the UK, and maybe one day might even be the richest club in the world if Apple decides to buy it, is Manchester United.
I don't know if they can compete with that Man City money though. Even if it's Apple, I don't know.
Doesn't matter. We don't need to compete. As long as we bring the right people, we can win again. And we're the only team in Manchester who have won not one, not two, but 3 Champions Leagues. City have not won none. And Pep
See,
Pep is no better than any of their managers they've had in recent history. He's not done anything more than Pellegrini or Mancini have done for Man City. He needs to sack. If I was the owner of Man City, I would not have renewed his contract. I would have got rid of him, bring in somebody fresh, someone new, give them the opportunity to try and make success at Man City by winning their first ever Champions League.
let's just hope that you guys don't blow this new ownership opportunity the same way you blew uh, having one of the greatest soccer players of all time on your roster, and Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, like we all know how that worked out. So hopefully it ends up better than
But
that.
it's because nobody is bigger than the
Yeah,
club. That's the
yeah.
reason. And plus, nobody at Manchester United likes the Glazers, and we can't wait for them to get out. Hopefully, if the rumours are true that they are hoping to sell up, then that's great news for everybody at Manchester United, because we've been trying to get them gone for the past 17 plus years and failed each year. But hopefully they listen to us now. We want them gone. Second to last question for you. Now,
All right, second to last question.
You saw. Pardon?
No, I was just said second to last question.
Okay.
I was just repeating it. Sorry.
I thought I heard you say last question. I thought I'll just double check. So, of course, you saw the Kongo Kong clip of you before. What did you make? Do you like the background and the graphics on this show, by the way, Peyton? Because I know you're also a production type guy, so we want to know a critic of the show. So let's give your take.
Yeah, no, I love it. I like that you sent me the lower third. I'm like, awesome. It looks rad. So, yeah, I'm going to school for broadcasting, and I eat this stuff up. So, yeah, no, I think it looks good.
Glad to hear. And our last question to you is, what is it like to be a part of the Best Kept Secret on YouTube? Will you come back again if it doesn't take you 5 months to get you on the show? And who would you suggest to come on the show next after Peyton the Ref? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I would love to come back. First of all, had a good time. I would like to dig into next time. Hopefully, if there is a next time, I'd like to dig into what I think about aspects of wrestling and maybe a little bit more of my story. But who would I suggest? There's a wrestler, very interesting independent wrestler who I have traveled the road with a lot. He's another great well kept secret. His name is No Good Jacob Ratliff. Great guy. He's interesting. He is a wild card. He is I don't know. It's very interesting. So I would say that would be a very good low key name. Now, if I was saying shooting for the stars, who I'd like to see on the Edward Fowler show, probably. I know you're a big fan of the refs, so I'd say Sean Patrick.
You're very funny there. You're very funny playing there. We've not had a ref on the show since 2020. That was Jared Fritz. We then had on
Well, you need
Dan
more.
Perch. We had Dan Perch on in
You need more.
2021, but, it kind of got deleted. So, technically, 2020 was the last time we had a referee on the show, and that was Jared Fritz from the NWA.
Well, okay. I'm trying to rep my zebra brand. You can see behind me.
Yeah, which Jake Cloyd loves, by the way. Yeah, lucky Jake, he likes it.
Yes, yeah. But so I would say Sean Patrick O'Brien. That'd be another guest, and maybe on TV. I'd like to see Bryce Remsburg on the Edward Fowler show. That'd be awesome.
Thank you for the suggestions. We will take it under consideration, and of course, if you know either of those two people, then feel free to let them know how to contact me if they're interested. That goes not just to you, Peyton, but anybody who is watching this here on YouTube live or on demand. And thank you again to the guest of today, Peyton Bowman, here for coming on the show. 1 hour and 5 minutes and 6 minutes we go. So thank you very much for your time to stay on the Zoom link here from Kentucky. If you enjoyed the episode, then make sure to like it on youtube.com. Maybe even share the video around. Tell more about Peyton Bowman. Tell more about all those different people he mentioned, from Jay Cloyd to Sean Patrick O'Brien. And I got it in there now. And even Aaron Grinder. What a unique name that is. Grinder, eh? Grinder goes down. Make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought of my interview with Peyton. Did you enjoy our banter? Did you enjoy the questions? Do you think they were tough questions? Tougher than the ones Peyton's received on other shows he appears on? I hope so, because, I try to keep mine fresh and unique all the time. And as well, you can follow me on my social media across the bottom of the screen. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and, of course, Instagram. The only official social medias for the show, including as well TikTok as well. We're on TikTok as well, so check it out on there. Nothing unique, of course. I need to do some different content on there, but I just can't be bothered at the moment. I keep seeing good interesting videos like, I should do that, but I just don't have time. And as well, we've got 197 subscribers, so if you enjoy the content, if you're a first-time viewer, then make sure to smash that subscribe button and help us to get to 200 subscribers, because we're only 3 away. And it'd be fantastic to get 3 more subscribers before the end of this year. So if you can help us, that'd be much appreciated. And until the next episode drops, which will be hopefully before Christmas, then enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon or evening.